Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. I am finally going to do my replies to my FAQs to my video where I thanked everybody for my $8,000 my 8,000 subscribers. Boy, if each of you guys did give $1. Anyway, okay, so I got some good questions here in the comment section, and I'm going to address them. However, before I do address them, I am going to once again address the constant questions that I get probably the most. All right, I'm on my 33-minute phone. I'll call it that. My 33-minute phone, where I only got but so much time to record here for one. Anyway, okay. So yes, I am actually homeless. I tend to get that question a lot. Am I actually homeless? Yes, I'm actually homeless. I understand that I am not cliche or stereotypically homeless. I don't have a criminal record. I do not have drug and alcohol addictions. I do not consider myself better than the homeless who do have these struggles in life. Hey, everybody's out here just trying to make it. So probably some of the questions that you guys have about homelessness is, I get questions about if you have money to patron these establishments, why don't you have a place to live? When people ask that question, it boggles my mind. I really don't understand, because the first thing that comes to my mind is, what is wrong with you? Don't you pay rent? Are you homeless? um, a minimal lease. Okay, so you're talking about $13,000 per year for a lease, um, and you're equating that to a $10 extra value meal. This makes no logical sense whatsoever. I don't know. It seems to me that a lot of people will compartmentalize their own lives, and they're wondering why you don't compartmentalize as well. They probably will come home with their $300 per week check. Low income, if it is indeed low income people that might be saying this, and they'll squirrel away $200 of that, and then scrounge to feed themselves. And anyway, this isn't an economic report. But yes, I am actually homeless. I cannot afford a place to live. That is the very definition of homelessness. Homelessness, it is not mutually exclusive to addiction or mental illness or criminal records. There are people with addictions and alcoholisms that own homes, multiple vehicles. So just because you're addicted doesn't mean it's automatic one-way ticket to Skid Row. Let's see. So I'm trying to tell you that I just can't afford a place to live. If I were someplace spending $1,000 a month in a restaurant, then yeah, I suppose you would have a legitimate complaint there about reckless spending and things like that. Okay, let's see. I'll talk about my monthly expenses because I get a lot of the questions in the McDonald video that they don't believe I'm homeless because I look too clean, I'm too articulate, I am too, whatever. I get questions about that I'm trying to bait the police, I am trying to create a lawsuit. All of these are just simply they're just made up in your mind. Also, it's probably also a lot of pro law enforcement trolling that's going on. The one thing I'll tell you about a troll: trolls know the truth. That's the ironic thing about trolls. They do understand my situation, probably 100%. They just simply don't care, and they're doing their best to hijack your mind, the weak-minded, into a false narrative. So, yeah, like I say, I go about my life. I mind my business, whether I'm traveling the roads or patroning an establishment. I am not trying to elicit a lawsuit. I mean, hell, I've been patroning the Dunkin' Donuts in Mays Landing for as long as the McDonald's. Although I do it an awful lot more now, so that Dunkin' Donuts gets a whole lot more of my money. I don't know, maybe Karen Traw and her McDonald's Corporation feel that they have customers that they can just ball up and throw away. Maybe they've got it going on like that. I don't know. But anyway, so I do patron a lot of establishments, and guess what? I do so calmly and peacefully, and I'm not trying to rope anybody into a lawsuit. I just simply want to be left alone to live my life. So there you go. All right. Then I get people that'll say, well, maybe you just simply stink to high heaven. So how weird, right? They complain I look too clean, complain I might be dirty, or the life of the homeless, I tell you, it's so weird. No, I do have a gym membership. Costs $30 some a month. Again, like I said, I do have a bank account. Not a whole lot of money in that bank account, but I do have a bank account. Bank accounts are free. Okay, I get a lot of questions about that. How do you have a debit card? How do you have a bank account? Because it's free. Go get one, and it makes me wonder, are you slave to check cashing places? Dude, you've been throwing thousands of dollars away. Go get a bank account. They're free. Okay. Yeah, so because I have a bank account, because gym memberships, excuse me, they usually like to be able to link to your bank account for the automatic deduction. So, again, bank accounts are free. Let's see. I will say this: if you do that, because my income is disability, and disability pays on the second Wednesday of every month. Anytime you set up any kind of automatic deduction, you're definitely going to make sure that your deduction doesn't occur until, far enough in the month, okay? Because depending on what bank you use, you might get an overdraft fee. So be mindful of that in case you do that. So yeah, let's see. Homeless. I am actually homeless. I live in a tent in the woods. I am actually homeless. I cannot afford monthly rent. Once upon a time, room rentals were feasible, were doable. Again, this is not a financial report, but in the wake of the 08-09 mortgage meltdown, the room rental prices became exceedingly predatory. When I would go looking for room rentals on Craigslist and things like that, when you see people bragging a little too hard about the listing, ignore it. Oh, we've got vaulted ceilings, we got pools, we got the... Okay, that's a person that's gotten in deep with the bank. Either they were one of the victims of the predatory lending, or point is, they're in it up to their fucking eyeballs and they need somebody to help them get out. And therefore, suddenly, room rentals that were $300 and $400 a month now are up there into $600, $700, sometimes even $800 a month, depending on the type of room. And they even then have the audacity to want a portion of the utilities. Fuck that, okay? Like I say, I refuse to live locked in a box where you surrender 90% of your income and the rest you just simply, well, I got my, I paid my room rental rate, so now I sit here and maybe I'll have a bowl of cereal, yeah, and then I'm gonna look out the window, I can't go anywhere, no, I gave all the money away to the landlord, yeah, I don't do anything with my life. My whole existence now is to just simply be, free tax-free money to this room rental person. So, oh my God, that's my whole life now. I do nothing. Bang! Just fucking blow yourself in the goddamn head, all right? Because or at least me, okay? I refuse to live that existence. Fucking refuse to live that existence. We're going into a bit of a heat wave here. Well, I wouldn't call it a heat wave. It gets cold at night, man. I am bundled up at night. Anyway, all right, 10 minutes. Let me dig into this thing. Like I say, I'm actually homeless. Okay, bicycle, transportation. My bicycle, yes, it is indeed an expensive bicycle. People, they balk at this notion of a homeless man owning a $4,000 bicycle. The bicycle, its price tag is is steep, so high because I am a very large man. I'm a very heavy man. Your box store bikes simply will not do. I will simply annihilate them. I mean, hey, truth be told, I give this bike enough of a workout. There are times when it can barely weather the rigor that I put on it. When people question me about the bicycle and the price tag of it, the thing that always comes to my mind that I find just a little bit insulting is that nobody ever questions the validity of a homeless person. And I'm not picking on people's addictions and vices here, but every single time you see a homeless person, smack the pack, baby. Okay, unwrap, boom, Nobody ever questions this. Okay, nobody ever questions homeless people. And the pack of cigarettes, $7, depending on how much you smoke. Um, okay, times that by 365. And suddenly you begin to realize the thousands of dollars per year that homeless will dump um, into smoking tobacco. That's just that one legal vice. Okay, not even talking about whatever else they're spending money on. But I'm not getting into that. So yeah, nobody ever also questions the validity of the homeless that are reclined and leaned back in their $30,000 SUV. Nobody seems to question that. But because I own a $4,000 bicycle, well, no, you're not homeless. Homeless person wouldn't have spent that kind of money on that. I don't know. Why did a homeless person spend their money on a car? Oh, a car, you need a car. Well, I need a bike. Yeah, but a car you can go to work with that. Yeah, and I can go to work on my bike. I did go to work on my bike when I was able to work, okay? All right, I'm moving on. The bicycle, another monthly reoccurring charge that I have would be the bicycle's insurance policy, Velosurance. It's underwritten by Markle. Costs about $46 or something like that per month. It's a bumper-to-bumper insurance policy, and it does not have any kind of depreciation like you guys' auto insurance does, because, if your shit gets totaled, the insurance company will be like, all right, well, we'll take a look at how old everything is and the value that we think it is. No, fuck that shit. God forbid, but if my bicycle gets totaled or stolen, it has a max payout of $5,000. So I would get a check from my insurance company for $4,700. It's a $300 deductible that they take out, So, and yeah, so yeah, there was no depreciation. It has medical endorsements were I to be injured while riding the bicycle, that'll cover medical expenses. It's a maximum payout of $10,000 medical endorsement. That's actually not a lot. You can burn through 10,000 just in the ER. So I could so go on a medical rant right now. Anyway, so yes, I have insurance on the bicycle. Also, were I to injure another, should I say injure, or damage, I suppose, or I suppose either, injure or damage another person while using the road, that is a maximum of $25,000 payout. Although I don't think I'd cause that much damage, nowhere near. Probably like if I were to get too close to a car and clip its rear view mirror, you know, even though I'm homeless, even though I could never afford the the what do you call it, to repair your car, but I've got insurance, you know. And but then again, I don't get close to cars like that. Cars get close to me. But anyway, all right, I'm at 15 minutes. This is the 33-minute phone. I gotta go on here. We're gonna get into our questions for FAQs. First question from YWC Future. I feel like you would be a good IRL live streamer. I have no idea what IRL means. There are a ton of trash channels out there who just live stream anything and everything. They put up a link. I'm paraphrasing him now. They put up a link and they get a bunch of money for a bunch of garbage content. I'm paraphrasing him. Yeah, you're right. YWC, you are indeed correct. And thank you very much for the compliment. He says that you at least have a brain and have a unique perspective on life. Thank you very much. But yeah, I want people to be educated on the channel. That's why the channel's not monetized. I want people to be educated on homelessness and cycling, home, transportation, the two biggest things that people spend all their money on, and I want them to understand you don't have to be slave to it. There are alternative ways of living. Moving on, we have Jordan Minor. I am a Special Olympic athlete. Sorry about my spelling. No big deal. Don't sweat it, Jordan. I have horrible spelling. Okay? I got a funny story about not only spelling, but sometimes I have difficulty reading Michael and Michelle. I can get them confused. I got a funny story about a guy. I was reading his registration for a car, and I said, "Is it your car?" And he goes, "Do I look like Michelle?" Funny story, anyway. But yeah, don't sweat the spelling. Jordan goes on to say that he gets bullied, and he wants to know what he can do about it. Jordan, this it's not really a life advice channel. Um, the FAQs that I was asking for about, if people want to know things about, but I can tell you this. Things, from what I understand, they're getting better as far as bullying goes. What I would like you to do is to speak to your caregivers, people, if you have your mother, your parent, or people who are in charge of your care. Let them know. Let them know that you are being bullied, and see what can be done about that. The problem won't get better unless you open your mouth and start talking about it. Let's see here. Who else do we got here? Yes, Sean Lavis. Am I saying that right, Sean Lavis? He asked some very good questions. Where do you stay in the winter? The woods. I'll either change location and maybe put up the winter tent that has solid roofing, and so I live in the woods year round. Do you have any family? I do have biological family. I used to rent with an old Jewish woman. See, like I said, I'm not the anti-Semite that people think. Miss Burton, she used to say, there's family and then there's relatives. There's a difference. Mrs. Burton is right. I would not call these people family. They're blood relatives. They're extremely predatory. That's a whole video. The one person that I do consider very much indeed my family, that would be my sister Jackie. She is the only person on the planet Earth that actually loves me. I love her, and unfortunately, she is in adult foster care. She had a serious mental breakdown while in college. Um, her recovery has left her in need of adult care, and most likely will need that care for the rest of her life. Moving on, how long have you been homeless? Depends on what you want to call homeless. People have different classifications. It's been a few years. I suppose you could probably say that I went full blown homeless maybe 2 years ago, because I had been trying to rent some rooms and things, and full blown homeless about 2 years ago. Let's see. Is it legal to sleep in the city woods? It is illegal to make it illegal to sleep in the city woods. You're talking about a constitution battle that does rage between various cities and states with the federal government. The federal government affords the homeless certain humanities, constitutional rights. You cannot make it illegal to live. Okay, it cannot be illegal to not be able to afford some place to live. Put it like this: you can make it illegal to be publicly drunk. Imbibing in alcohol, it is not medically necessary. It is medically, biologically necessary that I have shelter from the elements and a place to sleep. Okay, you cannot survive without sleep, and you have to have this. So yes, the federal government overrides any kind of city ordinance, stuff like that. Do you get lonely out there? Oh my God! I was actually going to make a video about this. Do you see that? It's my little Tylenol bottle here. Earlier this year, something dawned on me that I had been, after using it, I always would turn and misalign the arrows so that children could not get in it. And I had been doing that for many, many years. And the irony is that I've lived alone for many, many years, whether I had been renting rooms or just simply living alone in the woods. Sean, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that I'll probably live alone for the rest of my life. I will probably never have any form of family. I will never have a significant other. And that's a whole separate video. I will most likely die alone in the woods. For the, my prognosis, my social prognosis, it is not a happy one. I try not to dwell on it too much because it can become very depressing. I would love to have a wonderful family, but that just simply isn't possible. It's not in the cards. I'll probably be alone. I am the last of the Dunbars. My sister will never have a child. If she isn't in menopause already, she'll be in menopause in a few years, and I can tell you right now, it wouldn't have been very good for her to have children while on that medication that's so destructive. And of course, I'll never have children. But hey, there's lots of other Dunbars out there, right? The name will go on in some bloodline, but anywho. Yeah, I do get lonely, but I am a civil rights activist, and I have to my civil rights activist work keeps me busy, and loneliness is simply what I have to deal with here. All right, we've got one more from, what is this, Cool Edits, Horrible Singing and Let's Plays. So the names you guys come up with for your handles, I'll tell you. I'm a 20-year-old disabled homeless person, and I've been watching since you were 1,000 subs, At this moment, I have a 10 as well, but have had some people who clearly only want to do drugs. I never took drugs in my life. What happens if they come and try and hurt me? They already threw my last tent was thrown into the river. Sorry to hear about that. Or what if police come and arrest those people who they care about me? Who they care about me? I'm not really sure about the last part of what you're trying to say. Cool edits, but number one, I think I did give a. I replied to this right away because security is extremely important. I go on to tell him here, hi, cool. Your personal security is number one. I can't stress that enough. If I were you, I would quietly start scouting out a new place to set up camp. In the if the trail or wooded area looks like it's been traveled often, then it probably is. Security, it really is paramount. It's number one for the homeless. I can't begin to stress that enough. It really is. Um, I tried to talk about this before about how, we're Homo sapiens meant to be food, a source of food, we're these big mammalian bodies. Were we meant to be sources of warm blooded food for large reptiles, that may have been around? I don't know, but uh, nature didn't give us much of defense. We don't have any kind of strength, speed, agility. We don't have anything that the animals in the kingdom have. All we seem to have is a level of awareness, cognitive thinking, critical deduction skills. And that mental thinking made us aware of our vulnerability and gave us the ability to fashion a gun. I'm not that big of a Second Amendment proponent. I really am not. I can tell you right now, my version of heaven is just simply getting away from society. I don't like society. I think they're very cruel, very mean to people. Sounds like you understand that here. What was I watching from Vice, their YouTube channel, Vice, excuse me, Arkansas, getting into cannabis, weed. They sent some black guy with dreadlocks up there to report on it. It was one of the worst videos I ever saw in my life. But one of the things that I couldn't help but notice, the pilot, he had a 50 caliber strapped right there to his chest, because he takes them off into the for a plane ride. Alaska, we're talking about Alaska here. I said Alaska, right? I didn't say Arkansas, did I? I hope not. I'm talking about Alaska. Anyway, yeah, baked Alaska. And yeah, that's what I would love. Get away from society. I know there are probably many in law enforcement out there that probably cringe at the notion of me owning a firearm. But remember, I have been wanting to get the fuck away from all you people for a very long time, okay? I can't possibly be a threat to anybody being way the hell out there. And the only way I can go way the hell out there is if I am armed. I do. I don't know if I would need a 50 caliber. That was a big ass fucking gun, but I know I would want a revolver. I wouldn't want any kind of automation whatsoever. Just something really nice and simple. Probably a revolver 45, But yeah, man, I gotta be able to defend myself. There are vicious animals, and there are vicious people. There are vicious, There was, in Florida, now I'm just reading a news story here. Obviously I didn't witness it. But in Florida, a man born with no arms, from the, no arms, not even no arms, and born that way, it would amaze you what they can do with their feet and legs. And this guy was sleeping, and now I'm speculating here, but I think the rebel rousing, they weren't teens, they're like so you're college age 20 somethings, drunk, and they went to wake up this homeless guy. Hey, you, wake up. We want directions to know, where do we go to get... You startled a disabled man with no arms, a man that I can only imagine how he's been victimized in life. Okay, how he's been taken advantage of. And yeah, he shanked dude. He stabbed him with his feet. And of course, it was the homeless that got arrested and is now charged. Again, I don't know the details. I didn't see it happen. Just reading a news report, but just simply drawing on my own life experiences. I don't see people with no arms whatsoever going around just stabbing people. So he woke up in the middle of his sleep and woke up and stabbed you? No. You assaulted that man, and that man had a right to stand his ground and fucking stab you, okay? Leave people the fuck alone. Alright, I hope I addressed these things. I'm at 31 minutes. This phone's going to chop me off. That's all I can tell you. I'm actually homeless. I do have a source of income. It's disability. It's just simply not enough money to pay for rent. Even if I were willing to live locked in a box, the rental housing complexes in the area that I have telephoned and inquired, they have told me no. So I don't want to live in them. They don't want me. It's the income, it's too close to the bone, and they understand that were they to do that, they could very much indeed end up in a defaulted rent. You defaulted on your rent situation. So I don't make enough money, so I have no other choice but to set up shop in the woods. And yes, I have federal protections to guarantee that I'm able to do that. All right, guys, that's it. Hopefully these FAQs have answered a lot of your questions. Stay safe out there. Stay hidden. Total Control 871.